Let's rock it. Dude, cue the intro music.
You ready? All right. Welcome to the Delaware Hometown Sports Podcast #1. My name is Ferdy Onion, and my wingman and co-host of our podcast is Coach Stephen Ray, the head coach for the Cape Henlopen boys basketball team. How's it going, Coach?
I'm great, Ferdy. How you been?
Doing great. We're here doing our Delaware Hometown Sports Podcast from the Crooked Hammock restaurant located just down the road from the Cape Henlopen High School in Lewis, Delaware. And the Crooked Hammock's a big sponsor of Cape Henlopen High School sports, and they provide the team meals for the boys and girls basketball teams just before all the home games that they have here at Cape Henlopen. And they've been kind enough to provide us with these nice accommodations to do our first podcast. And want to thank Matt and the people here at the Crooked Hammock setting us up here today. Hopefully Matt will drop by and say hello. And Coach, what do you think?
Man, if you've never been to the Crooked Hammock, what a great atmosphere. It's got a great setup. It's very family friendly. Staff is great. We come here all the time, both as a family and as a basketball team. So this has been a great place for us, and we're excited about doing our podcast at this location.
How's your cornhole game?
It's gotten a whole lot better since we started coming here. My assistant coach is almost a professional cornhole tosser, and him and I took our first loss last season. It was tough, but he can throw it.
All right. Hey, so let's our very first guest for today's podcast is J.D. Mall, who is in his first year as head coach for the Cape Henlopen boys football team here. And so greetings, Coach. How you doing today?
Good. Thank you guys for inviting me, and I'm honored to be here, your first guest for the podcast here at Crooked Hammock.
This is great to have you, and so we're here to do this podcast to really just know who you are and kind of get to know you here in the next hour, and we can talk about anything you like. You can bring up anything. There's no format here. There's no script here. There's so. We're just going to get to know you. And having said that, I don't know you very well, so I Googled you here, and came up with some pretty cool stuff here. And if you don't mind, if I say a couple things here, which
no problem.
A couple things here, which is amazing here, is in 2013. Jeremy J.D. Mall of Lewis was named the Delaware Interscholastic Football Coaches Association's Football Coach of the Year. You were the head coach at St. George's Tech 5 years ago at the age of 27 when you got that?
Yeah, I took over at 26.
26. And in 2012, St. George's finished with a perfect season record of 10-0, losing to Archmere. And my first question is, how in the heck is Cape Henlopen lucky to get you here? Why Cape Henlopen? Why are you here? Why aren't you in the college ranks somewhere, coaching somewhere?
Well, why I'm here is, first thing, I was born and raised in Lewis, so I grew up on 4th Street, right behind the hospital. I have a lot of family members that taught at Cape School District. My mom was an administrator. I have been offered opportunities to coach at the college level as an assistant coach, but to be very honest with you, the pay's not very good. You're looking at $35,000, and I have 16 years with the state.
Better than the pay at the football at Cape Henlopen, I suspect, right?
Yeah, it's better than Cape Henlopen High School. It's a big pay cut coming from upstate down here to Cape, coaching and teaching. But when it comes down to college football, it's a big pay cut, because in college football, you're not guaranteed to be at a certain college for a certain amount of years. I just did an internship at Coastal Carolina University down in Conway. I was there for 2 weeks, and I did an internship down there. And the interns down there, they only get about $15,000 a year, and that's a big pay cut.
Awesome. So, and then here we go, and here's another one here. There's another article here, and in 2018, the Cape Henlopen School District Board of Education approved the appointment of J.D. Mall as the head football coach. What? I got a question for you. Was it? You guys had an interview process, right? Who interviewed you? How's that? What's that process? And
the interview process is down here is a little bit different. It was like 12 people in the interview process.
12 people.
Yeah, it was 12 altogether. People from outside the school district. A couple of people that own businesses. They were there. I'm not gonna go into names, but they were there. The interview was like 45 minutes long.
What, like people from like business, like Capriotti's owner, kind of was in there and started asking you questions.
There was a couple of owners of businesses. I'm not gonna go into what
Yeah,
businesses but they were there. Obviously, some administrators were there also, and the AD, and we had a school board member there also.
What was some questions they asked you?
They asked you some silly questions. When you get an administrator asking you about what defense you run, and they never played football before, it's kind of hard to try to explain to them, what kind of defense it is when they never played the game of football. But all in all, it was a good interview.
Wow. So come on, there's got to be some question that kind of stuck out. Come on, there's got to be one goofy question. Like what would you do if there was I don't know. Nothing.
You know what? They had. I can't even think of a question because it was a lot of questions.
All right.
Yeah, one doesn't stick out to me right now.
So okay, this is an interesting one. You also have uncles, Gilbert, Jay, and Julius on your staff.
Yeah, I have 3 uncles on the staff. I have a couple guys I played with in high school that are on the staff. One uncle, Julius, he's been with me for the last 10 years. So he would drive up to St. George's.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Okay.
he would come up 2 days a week. And I have a coach now that's coaching me at St. George's that now drives down here 3 days a week.
Yeah, I don't think, Coach, people realize how far you had to drive every day and how long you had to do that.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell? I mean, you've lived down this way the entire time you've coached up at St. George, have you not?
Actually, I had a house down here and I had a house in Smyrna. But for the last 2 years, I've been driving back and forth. So what was happening was I would stay in my office at school. So we finished practice up there at 6 o'clock, and then we would watch film at 9 o'clock, and then sometimes I just slept in the office. But the driving back and forth, man, they wear you down. I mean, it's long days,
That's like
long nights.
That's up there by Wilmington, right? That's like 2 hours away, right?
Yeah,
or something crazy.
well, right by the bridge. Going over the canal.
Yeah.
You can see our high school from the bridge. So it took me about an hour 30 minutes there, and an hour 30 minutes back. So when we play a downstate team in football, we would come down here and play. Like I said, Central, we get back at 11 o'clock. Now up there, I had a different kid. So my kids live in the city, so I got to drive them into the city of Wilmington, which I don't know if you guys are familiar with the city of Wilmington. It's a little rough there at 11 o'clock at night. Then
I know the Amtrak.
Yeah, so I would have to drive back down here. So sometimes I just stayed in the office. But I was lucky there because I was with that school since the day one, so I was allowed to do things, my way actually.
St. George's is Catholic school.
No,
That's a Votech.
Yeah, we're far from Catholic.
Yeah, the name sounds Catholic, but it's
St.
actually
George's
a
is
vocational
not
school.
Catholic?
Yeah.
No, we're Votech. We're far from Catholic, brother.
Really?
Yeah.
I was wondering, like, the Catholic school's dominating up there, with you up there.
We're a Vote Technical school, so we got kids from North Wilmington. I'll be honest with you, I'm not there anymore, but we have some kids from Chester. My best running back, he plays for Arizona right now. He plays like he's a second-string running back as a sophomore.
For the Arizona University?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay.
So he played football for me. He was a Chester kid that we got from Wilmington and got him down there. Well, he's from Chester, but he had a Wilmington address. So we have from North Wilmington all the way down to Smyrna. That was our area for our kids.
Do you recruit?
Yeah, yeah, it happens. We have to recruit up there. Upstate is totally different than downstate. Upstate, you can go to a development upstate and go to 25 houses, and all 25 houses have kids go to 25 different schools.
Right. Which is, when I moved to this area, there's nothing like that. You're in a school district. You go to that school, and if you move to another school district, man, they scrutinize that really, really tough here. So they don't let you bounce around.
You guys probably don't know this, but the city of Wilmington is the biggest city in the country that does not have a public high school. Does not have a public high school. You got the private schools in the city of Wilmington, like St. Elizabeth. I'm trying to think. Ursuline, which is a female school, Slade's Am. They're private Catholic schools. The only public high school, it's not really public, it's Howard High, which was part of my school district. but that's VOTEC, so you have to apply to get in there. So all the kids in the city, they get shipped out to schools outside the city and the suburbs.
You're kidding me. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So
there's 4 vocational schools that you can choose from just out of Wilmington.
Just out of Wilmington. So we have 4 VOTECs. Like Red Clay School District, they have like 3 different charters in their district. So they have Conrad School of the Science, Charter, and Delaware Military Academy. Our area, Newcastle County, has the most private schools per square mile in the county, in the country. So up there, we have to recruit because we got to get our kids. We have to get our kids. To put kids in the seats, we have to have good sport programs. So you're competing all the time.
So you got you got Gilbert, Jay, and Julius all out on the road recruiting.
Oh no, we don't do that down here.
Right. So that was
wait a minute. Why don't you do that down here? Is that not something that you're?
You can't do that. It's a small state, but it's very different from north to south. It's different. It's hard to explain until you really get into the bubble. But down here, you can't. All you can do down here is recruit your kids in your district.
Yeah.
Which is
Mariner Middle School, Beacon Middle School.
Yeah.
In Northern Virginia, you get caught recruiting. You get thrown out of school. You get thrown out of the district. And that's a big no-no.
Well,
except the Catholic schools, you can.
The IAA, I think it's like a little like $100, $200 fine or something like that. But it does happen up in Newcastle County all the time. Caraval High School has kids from Maryland.
Yeah, the kids jump from. It's hard to keep track of rosters in the northern part of the state, even in basketball, from season to season.
Yeah, it changes so much.
So there's I won't dig a little further, but makes no sense to me.
Like Slays A&M High School has kids from New Jersey, PA, and Maryland on their programs.
And Delaware, right?
And Delaware. Caraval has more.
And then they can play, and then they go play all the other schools in this area in Delaware, and then they win the state championships.
Yeah.
And
it's a private school, so their address is irrelevant.
Yeah,
that's messed up.
Yeah,
it's a very distinct advantage.
Yeah, big time.
So just because you don't do it, you're down here. This is
well, I mean, you have an issue. We bring this up in coaches' meetings all the time. Division I, Division II, how to split it up, what's the purpose of it. But the reality, in my opinion, is it'll never really be it'll continuously be an issue until the public and privates are split immediately. No other state, except for maybe Rhode Island, I believe, is that right?
Rhode Island,
combines every public and private in the same competitive arena for athletics. Like, most of them are split. So that actually gives me a follow-up to talking about where, in the area that we are at right now, like, where do you find being at Cape in the first couple of months and, or even early in the summer? Like, where do you find the greatest difference between being up at St. George and coming down to Cape? Like, what's the most glaring difference that you see?
We're recruiting.
Glaring difference.
Aside recruiting.
I'll start with the positives first, is this right here. The community is very involved. You have a lot of community support. I mean, we're doing this right now. So those are the positives. The negative is the kids I had upstate were tougher kids. And I'm nothing against the kids down here. But right now, the kids upstate were tougher, and they have a plan on getting out of their situation.
From a football perspective, you're saying tougher.
Tougher football, and then they have plans on using football or using their education to get out of their situation.
Yeah.
So a lot of kids I had didn't have great situations. Down here, in my 3 or 4 months I've been down here, a lot of kids down here don't have a plan to get out of their situation. And it's disturbing when you have juniors and seniors, they don't know what their plan is going to be when they get out of high school. And that's something I hope that myself, the coaches, Coach Ray, we all work together and get these guys plans, because right now we're struggling on that end. We don't know how to get to the college level, how to get, they don't have a plan right now, and it's something that we have to address.
Do you see any of your players today going to college?
We're working on it.
I mean, as far as Division I kind of type
here at
talent?
Cape?
Yeah.
Right now, I'll be honest with you, in the senior class, we don't have any Division I talent. We might have a guy in the sophomore class, but again, talent changes every year because you got to work at it. And our young men down here, you would think, after you watch what the female sports are doing, they will see, okay, because when I go to school early in the morning at 6 o'clock, those girls out there running around. Somehow our guys have not understand that you have to work hard in the classroom and on whatever sport you decide to do to get to that next level. And somehow we haven't gotten our male athletes to see that yet, especially in football. We have not gotten them where they need to be.
Yeah. Wow. So I in this article that Dave Frederick wrote, you did mention something like there are two things you hear about Cape. One's that the guys that they harness the great talent, but the kids at the beach are soft. So that was interesting. You know, I got to tell you, I tell a story to Coach Ray here all the time, and it's back in the days. And you know, how do you these kids that are coming into your program, the freshmen and stuff? I knew a girl that I coached travel basketball in 7th and 8th grade, and there was this girl that I coached, and she was just horrible. And I told you this story, just horrible. And but hey, why not? Why not play her as a friend of a daughter or a friend of mine, his daughter, to play? And she could rebound, big brute and everything. She was just terrible. So at the end of her 8th grade, freshman going into her freshman year, her dad says, "Look, you're going to probably grow, and if you're going to play basketball, either you're all in, or you just cut it out." Mm-hmm. And that was Vernon Butler's daughter, who caught the bug as a freshman and just ended up working her tail off like I've never seen a girl do or anybody do. And she ended up becoming something and started playing on the Connecticut's girls basketball team. From just a terrible player, just having these freshmen catch a bug, mm-hmm. and getting the passion to kind of do something with that sport. They have a great opportunity to play on a team, and what they do with that, it's a crime that they don't use that to spearhead them or to use that as a springboard to doing something with them, because it can be done.
Yeah.
It can be done. So I don't know. This is a weird question that just popped up in my head. So what do you do with that? How do you ignite passion in these kids when they're soft as they are at the beach and really kind of they're not.
When you ask a kid and you say, "Hey, what do you want to do?" and they tell you, "Hey, I want to play college football." Well, show me you want to play college football. You got to work at it. Kids that want to work at it and they love football, they'll get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I don't know the quote, but Kobe Bryant talks about the 4 o'clock a.m. shooting around. You got to want to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and do the extra. We have a lot of kids that just want to show up, and I don't want to get on the generation, but it's that generation now that can go in and play on a video game and it instantly happens.
Oh my God!
It doesn't instantly happen. You got to work at it, and we're going to get there. We're going to get some guys that are going to work at it, but right now we're not where we need to be.
That's a good statement. What does your program look like? Where do you see the biggest change that has to come? Is it in the preparation in the preseason? Is it the commitment in the weight room? Is it is it more so of a lack of football knowledge and base? I mean, where do you see the biggest?
The biggest thing for us is going to be, first of all, when I took the job, I was the only person that came down, so I had a whole new coaching staff. So now they're coming. I coach differently than the last coach. So we're still learning each other, and they're working on getting better also. As players, the commitment, they gotta be committed, and then they gotta compete in the classroom. If you don't compete in the classroom, we don't have anything going for us. So the commitment, classroom, and then the off season, what are you doing to get better? I have no problem with kids playing other sports, and actually I want our kids to play 2 or 3 sports. I believe at Cape High School, you got to have kids play 2 sports. We're not a big enough school to
just different skill sets for different type of.
And college coaches,
they love it. It's the biggest misconception going around. They want kids that don't want it. You'll get burned out. You play one sport all year round.
It burns out.
It becomes a job.
And one of the challenges, and I don't want to get off subject here, but one of the challenges.
Hey, no format.
Ray has. I dealt with it upstate. We don't have it down here. God bless us right now. We don't have it. But you get these AAU coaches and they want to say, hey, you got to play basketball, football, 7-on-7. But I know for football, colleges can't go for 7-on-7. They can't go watch you at 7-on-7. And these kids are paying $2,000 to play flag football down in Florida, but there's no college football coach down there. You know, so you're putting all this money. No, go play basketball, go play lacrosse. College coaches want to see how do you deal with adversity when you're not the man. Use different sports. Like Coach Ray said, kids get burnt out. I get burnt out doing 12 months of football. I take 2 months off. Well,
yeah, you got to.
Yeah, you got to. It burns you. It burns you out. You guys remember Dick Vermeil?
Oh yeah.
He got burnt out. You know, guys get burnt out, man. And, you know, there's guys that coach basketball, they get burnt out. You gotta get some time away. And at the end of the day, Coach Ray and myself, you know, we're dealing with teenagers too. You can't ask a teenager. You want a kid to be a teenager. You know, go out, go to the boardwalk, have a good time. You just don't want to say football every day. You know, you got to let the kid be a teenager. You're only a teenager once.
Let me go back to follow up on something you said a minute ago. Inheriting a coaching staff. What kind of challenge does that? I would say cohesion in the football coaching staff is there's so many of you and everybody's got to be clicking on the same clock. Like how difficult is that transition being seeing that you haven't been able to bring your guys? Like you have to train the guys that you're training to train the kids that you want to learn.
Very difficult because where I was at before, I had guys on the staff for 12 years. And the guys that weren't on for 12 years, they played for me. So to be very honest with you,
no kidding, wow.
Guys, if I saw a kid make a mistake, I didn't have to yell at him because the other coach would take care of it, or a player that played for me who's now a coach will take care of it. So actually, I saved a lot of energy. Now I'm correcting everything, and at the end of practice, I'm beat.
You're done.
I'm beat. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. And what's happening is sometimes I'm so tired I can't correct everything. And also, when you have 12 coaches, a lot of times guys have it for us. And again, everybody coaches differently. If you coach the running backs, you coach tight ends, I don't expect you to watch the quarterbacks. Sometimes guys, all they want to do is watch the ball, but they're not watching their guy. And that's hard to train a coach to watch this their guy. Because when you get all these coaches yelling at one kid, now you have 12 different voices yelling at this one kid. He can't understand what's going on.
Yeah.
You know, so you don't want to cross coach. So what we have is you only coach the running backs, you only coach the tight ends. We don't cross coach because now it becomes a communication issue. All right, and I need you to do your job, and I need you to do your job. I don't think that was happening in years past, and my guys are doing a good job adjusting to that. But it's
that's
tough.
The challenge too, right? Because the moment any kind of change in any of those positions have, especially at the high school level, you know, I've been at Cape for 8 years now. Coach Russian's been with me the entire 8 years, and he never coached previously, so he's like on board all the way now. Yeah. If I, losing him, I felt like I would have to start all over again. If you lose one of your 12 on the coaching staff, even going into next year, it's almost like resetting the board again.
And you had Tommy Russian for 8 years, and you made a great point. All Tommy Russian knows is Coach Ray's style.
Right.
See, my guys up there already knew my style. Down here, a lot of these guys coach for 4 or 5 different coaches. So sometimes they blend in one coach's style, another coach's style, but it's not my style.
Right.
So, and then it's not my terminology. So you have all those issues going there. And we're getting the buzz together. We're trying to fix it. But also, I don't know what happened in years past, but if you're the tight ends coach and the tight end runs the wrong pattern, I don't yell at the tight end. I yell at the coach. Because
that's his squad,
you're responsible for that, and I don't think that was what happened in years past.
So obviously, this isn't your first. There's got to be a part of you though that's excited to fix it, and just to just bring light to the whole. Like, hey, let me just bring you a different way of how things are run, right?
Right.
And like, does that rejuvenate you, or are you too? Or like you said, I know you're exhausted.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine what you're going through. It kind of excites me that you're here because I've watched you in the weight room in the summer and just going in and out of the gym.
I'm fired up about that. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm thinking about 2019, 2020. I've already had those rosters already looking at who projected starters in those years. Like I'm excited about that because right now, as a coaching staff, I sat them down. Obviously they want to win the battle, we want to win the war. All right. So for us, I knew, like I talked to administration, don't expect no state championship out of us this year. It's going to be a process. It takes a process, And at St. George's, it was the same thing. The biggest difference between St. George's and Cape was at St. George's, I had fresh freshmen. We start off with 9th graders and then 10th graders. Here, I came in where we only have 12th, 11th, and 10th. So you got to change what was happening years past. But I like rebuilding the program. And so it's going to take some time.
Does the Division I, Division II, going from D2 to D1, does it have any significant impact on your approach, or is it more just let's lay the foundation down and then
Yeah, we want to lay the foundation down. And I'll be honest with you, when we first started at St. George's, we were Division II. But when we started when we got rocking and rolling, you saw that. I think we went like 68 and like 9 or something like that. We could play anybody in the state. And we had the bodies. We had 105 kids out there. And at practice, man, it was a war.
Wow.
Like, we competed. If someone goes down, just move them out the side, next man up. You couldn't be late to school because if you're late to school, someone's going to take your job. Right now, we don't have that depth in competition. So right now, it ain't a war at practice every day.
Right.
Kids know that, okay, I can act up a little bit because
Yep.
ain't nobody there. But when you bring competition, man, you got to compete every day at practice. That's when you know you have a good team, when your 1s and 2s are battling and your 3s are saying, Coach, let me in.
Yeah.
Right now we're at practice. Hey, we need somebody to come in.
So how do we draw the depth at Cape to get those kids that don't play football right now? Because I think there's a lot of athletic kids that aren't playing that would help the program. And I got a couple of them running around on the basketball court. That would definitely help.
Yeah. I believe with eventually the relationship with all the coaches coming together and talking, I think that's going to help every sport out, every coach. And then I got to get in the hallways more. I'm at Maryland Middle School, but I got to get in the hallways more at the high school and get those guys out. Football comes down to bodies, It takes it's a total. I mean, football is a violent sport, it's a physical sport, so you're running out of bodies. We've lost like 5 starters in the last week and a half.
Wow. How many bodies do you have? How many teams? How many
this
players?
This is the smallest program I've had. I think we're like 66 kids.
66 kids, as opposed to having what you just said earlier, 105.
Oh yeah, 105. Well, we cut up St. George's and we still had 105. So
wow,
we competed, man. When you have success, everybody wants to play. When you have success,
they're coming out.
They're coming out, man. They're coming out, and they want to compete. They want to get out there.
They want to transfer in.
Yeah, they want to transfer.
That's how you recruit down here.
Yeah.
You have success, and
they come.
They want to come.
Oh, they want to come.
They make it happen on their own.
They want to come, and then they see the kids you're putting into college. They're seeing that, okay, they're putting kids in college. They're playing it. We played, I think, 2 state championships, like 4 or 5 semifinals. They don't even want to come. And we're putting kids in college. They want to come. So that's what we got to do here. But we got, football, basketball, wrestling, lacrosse. We all got to work together and sell that beautiful school and get our kids to play our sports. And then, again, win in the classroom. We got to win in the classroom.
Hey, is there a booster club at Cape Henlopen High School?
Well, you want to open up a can of worms with me? Let's save that one for another topic.
Yeah.
Ooh, I hit a soft spot here, a sore spot.
And I don't. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I never had a booster club before. So
right.
Yeah, for us on a Friday night, you go to Wawa, brother. Like,
yeah.
Did. Or I go out and buy some pizzas. Like, I didn't have a booster club, so we didn't have any money.
Well, is there a booster club? There's no booster club here.
If you,
Vince, right, is the only guy, right?
Yeah, I got one guy. We use our camps for fundraisers for basketball. That's what I do.
And you have a summer camp, right?
No, I've never had a summer camp. I guess they've done this here in years past. I don't know all the ins and outs on that stuff. But we've man, where I was at St. George's, man, we didn't have any money, man. We didn't have summer camps. My kids had to work. They were VOTEC kids, so they had to work. So we didn't have any summer camps.
Well,
we weren't a community school.
So, you mentioned Dick Vermeil. You an Eagles fan?
Oh no.
Good. I was.
Man, you're gonna laugh at my team. I'm a Buffalo Bill fan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm a diehard.
Wow, I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
Where'd that come from?
How does that happen?
Man, look.
What?
I got
Did
7
you lose
uncles.
a bet on that one or what?
No. I got 7 uncles, a big family. There's a lot of us down here, and it was either between Buffalo Bills, Cleveland Browns, and at the time was the Baltimore Colts. And Jim Kelly it was 1985, and I was like, look, I go with the Buffalo Bills, and I've been Buffalo Bills since 85.
And do you follow college football? Who's your team?
College football in high school, I was a Nebraska fan, but right now I follow whoever. If I have a kid at a certain school, I just follow. I can't watch college football anymore because upstate we played on Saturdays, so I really don't follow a whole lot of college football.
Yeah, that's a change, right? Because now Friday night coming up is be your first Friday night lights down in Cape, right? How you feeling about that?
Oh, I'm excited about it. It's a big change for us. We didn't have a band. We never had a band at St. George's. All right, we never had a band. All right, we got a cheerleading squad like my 3rd or 4th year, and then we played our games at 10:30 in the morning. So most schools upstate don't have bands
You played your games on Saturday mornings.
at 10:30 because at the time upstate, everybody catered around University of Delaware football games. So UOD was a big ticket. So we played our games at 10:30 upstate. So for us now we play Friday nights. Now because for me on a Monday we watch film. Now down here we got to practice on a Monday. So it's a different preparation for games down here now for me.
How many kids do you have? You mentioned kids. You got kids?
Are you talking about my own person?
Yeah, your own kids.
I got 1 kid. That's it. That I know of. I got 1. I got 1 kid. Don't try to give me too many kids.
So what? I know full time. Your football is the full time gig, and what do you do? Do you fish? What do you do on the side? How do you get away from
You
this?
say you take 2 months off. Like, what's your
I
outlet?
take 2 months off. I hang out at the beach. To be honest with you, I'm big into horse racing. So I've been to Kentucky Derby.
No kidding.
Yeah, I've been to Preakness. I've been up to Saratoga. I haven't been to Belmont yet, but I've been around. I love to go to Santa Anita.
You ever ridden a horse?
No, I ain't get on no horse, man.
You just like to watch them run.
I can sit there and bet them horses, but I'm not getting on no horse.
Do you go to the beach and you drive on to the state park? Is that what you do? You fake fish like everybody else does up there?
Yeah, I'll fake fish. I'll fake fish.
Yeah. You catch anything? Because I've been here 3 years and I haven't caught a damn thing. I've tried everything.
I'll catch a buzzfish.
Yeah,
no doubt about that.
I don't even know what. I got you. All right. That I think I've caught a couple of those.
Yeah.
Got it. I got it. Yeah. So no boats. Anybody that you have a boat anywhere? No one.
I know a couple guys that have boats. You get on the pontoon boat out there by Paradise Grill.
Yeah.
I go out there with them, but I just relax, man.
You haven't been to Paradise Grill, have you?
We were just there the other night.
It's unbelievable, right? In the backyard here.
Yeah, it's not a bad spot. It's better if you have a boat. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking. My dad says don't buy a boat.
I just try to find a friend that's got one.
The best the best boat you can have is your friend's boat.
Yeah, I agree.
But I was at the Paradise Grill and I was watching the Amish Outlaws singing a Jimi Hendrix song. It just didn't seem right. These guys are all dressed up as Amish outfits, had their hats on, and some guys pumping away Jimi Hendrix. It's damn good. I gotta tell you, it was really good at Paradise Grill. Yeah. So all kinds of stuff here.
Good burgers.
Do they really?
They do.
So JD, nickname? What'd your mom call you when you were a little kid?
She called me JD. Well, she gets mad. She calls me Jeremy, but yeah, JD.
So you got the games coming up here. I got your schedule here.
Yeah, it's a gauntlet, man. It's a rough one.
Antelope North is brutal.
Yeah, we just we played Delaware, the defending state champion. They
were the state champions last year.
Yeah, they roughed us up, and then we went to Suitland, which was a cultural shock for our guys, and they roughed us up, and they're undefeated also. And then we should have beaten Northeast last Friday night, and they're still undefeated. So the combined record of our 3 teams are 11-0.
What are you doing to yourself? What are you crazy? Why are you going to Maryland to play games?
That's a schedule that was there. I didn't. That schedule was from last year. They played Lower Cape May last year, and they beat up on Lower Cape May. And I decided to play Delmar because we couldn't find anybody else to play us.
The state champs. You decided to play them?
Yeah, it was either that or only played 9 games.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, so we played Delmar.
And you got the.
I think that's a great game for your program, though, don't you think? In terms of multiple reasons. Number one, similar community in terms of the way they support their athletics, and then their football program year in, year out is always stellar. Coach Hearn does a great job, always has, right? I mean, that's what you want your guys to see that, don't you?
Yeah, Ray brought up a great point. Our guys have never been in that environment before. My seniors, they haven't been in, a big-time environment. We went down to Delmar, and fans were there before we got there in the stands.
If you've never been to a Delmar game, you should go.
Yeah,
it's a great,
Really?
it's a great atmosphere. Absolutely.
Yeah, they're on top of you, and they're playing that song from the early '80s, man. Final Countdown. You guys remember that song?
Yeah.
I mean, they're playing that song. It's loud.
Can you sing it for us?
Oh, I can't sing it for you now. If I had about 12 of these
Zach,
things.
you can sing it for us.
Yeah,
He's got the soundtrack ready to
but
go.
they're
Tee it
playing,
up real quick.
They're playing Final Countdown, and our guys, we were intimidated. We weren't ready for that moment.
They packed that place? I mean.
Oh, yeah.
It was packed. I mean, there's fans on top of the fence going to the end zone, and they're talking trash to you. And our kids were just not used to that type of environment, and it was good. And I'm hoping my sophomores and our freshmen and juniors saw that and remember what happened. So in May and June, when they just say to themselves, okay, do I want to go to the weight room or do I want to go to the boardwalk? But I remember that feeling walking off that field with those fans.
Getting your ass kicked.
Yeah. So,
yeah, you got 2 different cultures in your first year. I looked at your schedule and I thought, man, if I'm coming into a new program and I'm trying to build, you can't ask for two of the 3 better atmospheres to play in, because Delmar and Suitland are both great atmospheres, but in completely different ways.
Yeah.
And being from my last couple of years of high school from the Maryland area, PG County, very familiar with that area. That's another type of culture shock.
Oh my God. Yeah, we went from Delmar with the ringing bells, into Suitland, which was
Ringing something else,
it was totally different, man. I mean, we got up on Suitland early, and you could tell Suitland was scared. But then, we fell apart, and then come out third quarter, man, I think it was like Soul Train out there. They were playing music. It was a club out there. You know what I mean? Like, everybody from the neighborhood was there, and it was packed. And Suitland was fast, and this inner city DC kids, and they got after us. Yeah, they got after us. And our kids, again, just aren't ready for that moment. They haven't been in those type of situations before. So I'm hoping in the future we can learn from what's happened and build off of it.
I think for coaches too, right? Coaching staff, your guys coming in, like it's all positive.
Yeah.
Other than the result.
Yeah, other than the result, like we had to eat. I think it's called Sandy Point State Park.
Yeah.
So we ate there. We ate there the last 2 weekends.
Yeah,
we've been eating there. Some of our kids have never been there. I've never been to Sandy Point State Park. So our kids are starting to experience some certain things. But yeah, Suitland was a different beast, man. It was a different beast. And then we went to Northeast last week. Northeast is sort of like Cape, but it's in Pasadena, Maryland. It's like right outside of Baltimore.
And you competed in that game really well, right? I would think that the previous 2 experiences, mentally, kids are understanding, like, hey, what's coming next.
Yeah.
They probably were more, even though the loss, they gained confidence just from being able to get into that environment and then being able to respond. They had to have been better mentally prepared going through the first 2 weeks going into that last game.
Yeah, I agree. We threw the first punch versus Northeast. We really did. We were more physical than Northeast. We just had a couple fumbles at crucial times against Northeast that cost us this game. We should have beaten Northeast. And now in this week, we got another monster in Smyrna who's 0-2, but they're 3-time state champion. They lost to Middletown, and they lost to Franklin out of Maryland, who was I think a 3A or 4A state champion.
Yep.
So and then Smyrna has the right tackle that's signed to Penn State.
Oh wow!
So he's one of the top players offensive line wise in the country. He's like 6'5", and he's slim, early, 300 pounds.
What do you do about him?
We're just going to try to
run
do our
away
best.
from him.
Yeah. We want to try. We want to try to do our best. To deal with him.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Then you got okay. So you'll win Smyrna. Then you're off to play Polytech.
Yeah, Polytech, and I think we have Milford, I believe. I'm not sure.
And that's
now you got Caesar Rodney before that.
Okay, yeah, Caesar Rodney. We go up there. and it's their first game in their new stadium. So that's going to be another big game, you know. So
you'll win that one, right?
yeah. We're going to compete, man. You know, we're going to go out there and we're going to give it everything we got. We ain't backing down from nobody.
And then you got Milford for the homecoming.
Yeah.
On the 19th of October.
I think I'm excited. I'm excited just listening to you, and I know that you're going to be dedicated to what's going on. I feel like, you know, a lot of times the football team, whether people want to admit it or not, drives the overall school spirit.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, putting a consistent product out on the field, and you guys got we talked about earlier about the band, Mr. Burkhart, Chris Burkhart, the band director over at Cape. He's just as passionate about marching band, and I give him a hard time about that. He's just as passionate about band as you and I are about athletics.
Yeah, he's big into it. I'll be honest with you, I must have just been lost when I was in high school at Cape. I didn't know we had Alma Mater song. So at the end of our games here,
well,
now,
there's a challenge for you right there. I bet you 95% of the student population has no idea.
Yeah, I agree. I guess the football team after the game sung it, but I had no idea we had one. So now I guess, you know, after our game on Friday night, we'll sing it. So that's pretty cool. Like, again, we didn't have a band where I came from. We didn't have a band, and this guy, Mr. Burkhart, he is very passionate about his band. I mean, this summer he had a couple guys pass out there. I mean, they're out there in that heat.
I had a gentleman come in the weight room the other day.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to name names. He's a student. I said, "Where have you been? You look like you've grown like 2 inches." I said, I thought you were playing football this year. He said, "No, I've been out on the field with the marching band."
He was out there. I saw him too.
I said, "Holy cow! You're the biggest marching band kid on the field."
Passing out on the field.
Yeah, I saw him. I said, "Oh man, who's that kid?" And but yeah, he's out there, and it's hot out there, man.
He loves it though.
And he has those kids out there, man. They're marching and stepping, and they're beating the drums, and they're passionate, man. So.
All right.
The full feel of the Crooked Hammock right there.
There you go. So, hey, Coach Ray, what you got any basketball players playing football?
I do. I got a couple guys that were on the team last year, a bunch of younger guys. One kid was hurt last year. He's out there playing football. He'll be healthy this year playing basketball. I would say about a half a dozen between the freshman, JV, and varsity teams.
Yeah, we got about half a dozen. You know, we had a couple. But we about half a dozen.
I'd say 2 or 3 of them are pretty impactful guys on our squad.
Yeah.
On the basketball team as well.
Jack Dennis, I saw his name pop up. How's he doing out there?
Doing good.
He's a big wide receiver. He's a wide receiver, big target. I
he's
guess.
doing good. We got, I believe, 3 starters from the basketball program on the team. I believe 3. I might be missing a couple, but 3 coming to my mind.
Do they on offense?
Just on offense and defense.
Okay.
Yeah, we got 3 that come to mind, and be very honest with you, probably had 4 or 5 if they stuck it out. A couple of those guys, but some things happen. But the basketball team has some athletes. They do.
How their hands? They catching the football? How's Jack Dennis's hands?
Jack Dennis has good hands. He has good hands. You know, he's doing well. He's doing well. So.
All right. So you win the homecoming game, right? And then you got the autism game. Sussex Central. That's a home game.
Yeah, that was a rivalry game, and then I believe we finished up maybe with Sussex Tech.
Yeah. So what?
You know, I'm sorry. We call them the other school.
The other school, yeah.
Yeah,
you can't use their name around.
Yeah,
it's a point of contention.
Yeah, we call that the other school.
What's the?
Even though our producer went there, but we won't hold that against him.
Oh, you went there. God bless you.
He's going to cut you off here in a minute. Mess with him. He's going to splice another word on.
Hey, if it wasn't for the technical aspect of it, we wouldn't be sitting here right now. So I got to give the shout out there.
Hey, we got to get a picture of this here because this setup is unbelievable here, and I feel we feel kind of important here. But so what game here on your schedule is circled on your calendar? Which is the one that you want to?
Other school.
The other school?
The other school.
No doubt about it.
That's an unanswered question, Ferdy.
Yeah,
is it really?
No doubt about it. We got to win that game. We can't keep losing kids to that school. When I was in high school, we didn't even look at that school, but now all of a sudden it's a rivalry.
It goes in waves.
Yeah. So that's the school that we have to take care of.
And that's the big rival of Cape? Is that or they're all
Well,
right?
I always say until they start beating you consistently, it's not really a rival. So I guess it goes from sport to sport in terms of the rivalry.
So what sport does Sussex or the other school have that they beat you guys at Cape at? What sport do they?
I don't know.
They don't.
Yeah,
football maybe. It's been
football,
back and forth a little bit.
It's just our
now that we got him here, this is not a
Right.
chance
Well,
in
that'll
hell.
change.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't want to speak for Ray, but when I came down here, that's all the kids talk about is that other school. And again, when I was in high school, we didn't even talk about that school. Our rivalry was CR,
Right.
because CR was a class.
CR mattered.
Yeah, CR mattered.
Because they're state contenders every year.
Every year,
Right.
that was
Absolutely.
our rival. Right now, our kids, and that's the mindset goes back to, is the mindset is, why is your rival the other school who has the same amount of wins as you? Like, why are you worried about a team that only has 4 wins?
Right.
Our rival should be Smyrna.
Number one.
Yeah, and that's the mindset that
No
we
doubt.
have to change in football.
That's
that-
why I
yeah,
think it's awesome that you played those teams at the beginning of your season, because that's what you want.
Yeah.
I mean, if you could have set your schedule, knowing you, what I do, I would have thought you probably would have picked similar opponents.
Yeah.
To show what we're trying to get to.
Yeah. Well, next year we already have our schedule out for next year already. So next year we open up my old high school, first game of the season at home, and then we go up to William Penn, who's the biggest school in the state.
Absolutely.
All right, and then
Really?
yeah. So those are our first 2.
Who makes the schedules?
For football,
Yeah.
I do. For football.
Do you really? You
Yeah,
can
I
pick
took-
any of the schools, and I mean, you got certain requirements.
Yeah, Bob Salento is the AD.
Yeah, the 80s let you choose.
but he lets me choose.
You have your basic Henlopen conference that
Conference.
you have to play. Coaches get to decide what
So
else.
Coach Colick last year picked Suitland and Northeast, those schools to play?
I believe so. Him or Bob Salento, one of those guys. I write with that schedule there with the history of Bob being a Maryland guy. I'll probably say Bob probably did more of that.
He wants to be able to catch a Maryland basketball or football game while he's out there, right?
Yeah, probably. Or want to stop by his old neighborhood, probably.
Is that right? Okay.
I don't know.
All right. So, hey, and referees, okay? So, Coach Ray knows how to work referees in basketball. That's a huge. Can you do that in football?
Man, look, I go to the last couple of years, I've come down and watched Cape because we actually played Cape in basketball a couple of years. So I come down, and one of my best friends is on the staff, and I'm coming down to scout Cape. Ray gets away with murder talking to the coaches. I can't even say hi to a coach, not to a coach, but a ref. I can't even walk on the field and ask a question. I get penalized, and if I get 2 of them, I'm kicked out of the game for that game and the next game.
Well, it's if your coaching staff gets a flag, it goes on you.
It goes on
right?
me.
Yes, yeah.
It
That's
goes
a
on
little
me.
different in.
Well, no, you can still get a bench.
No, because you
right?
can get a bench one, but that doesn't necessarily go to the head coach.
Yeah.
Then football, if you get a flag, that goes on the head
me.
coach.
So I got 12 guys, and it happened against Delmar. I had a coach, a new coach. He got penalized. That goes on me.
So one other outburst from one of the other 12 coaches, right?
and
You're
I'm,
out of.
I'm out of the game, and I'm out for the next week games too. And the next time I get one, I'm out for the season. So
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
Yeah. So like it's
Your assistant coach is going to,
football is tough, man. Football is tough. Where the basketball coaches, they can work the referees. a little bit. We can't work the referees at all, man. It's tough.
You don't throw your hat, and you don't go stomping on your hat or nothing like that. You can't.
I did that last Friday night, but it wasn't towards the ref. It was towards I was upset with what was going on with our players. But yeah, I'm a little jealous about the basketball coaches, what they can get away with.
All right. So no hobbies. Okay. What else we got here? Tell us something that we don't know about you.
Something you don't know about me.
Something that we want to know about
Either
you.
that, or even if your players are listening right now, or if they decide to check out the podcast, then tell us something that maybe you wouldn't tell them face to face.
I'll tell them face to face.
Off the record here, of course.
the
It's
record.
not school sanctioned or anything like
All
that.
right, you know what? They know I'm a big Tupac fan, but I listen to Coldplay on the bus ride. They'll probably start laughing at me like, "Coach, you soft." But I listen to Coldplay on my way to a football game.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys know who Coldplay is. But
I know
listen to
Coldplay.
Yeah, I listen to
A
it.
little surprised, but
Yeah,
okay.
I listen to Coldplay, and I listen to little Phil Collins.
Oh, wow.
What's song?
I wouldn't picture you as a Phil Collins kind of guy.
Nah, it's a song.
It's opening up big time here.
It's the one song he has. I forget the name of the song.
In the air
Yeah,
tonight?
there you go. There
You can
go.
feel it in the air tonight.
Yeah, feeling the air tonight. I do listen to that. So But yeah.
So there is a soft side.
Yo, you gotta have, we all got a little soft side, but that song there gets me ready to go.
So what do you tell your coach? What do you tell your team for Friday coming up here?
Why not us? Why not now? That's what you tell them. Why not beat the state champion, defending state champion, and why not? Why
Is there
not?
always some smart ass and they raise their hand?
Nah,
they don't dare, right?
Nah, they don't do that. They're too scared to raise their hand. There's probably a couple kids scared to go outside the locker room, but.
So here's a question: you have a wife?
No wife. I was married. Football. It's hard being married. A lot of football coaches aren't married. It's tough. I was in my office at 10 o'clock at night every night. So a lot of guys I know that coach high school football and college football, they're not married. If they are married, it's their second marriage or third marriage. This is part of the beast.
Or you have to marry a coach's wife.
Yeah,
you have to marry a coach's wife.
Yeah,
that's a conversation that you have before you even put the ring on the finger.
Yeah, it's tough.
I had that conversation.
And your wife's an ex.
She's a former high school and college basketball player.
Yeah.
So she's
she knows the drill. She knows what
she knows the drill.
It's tough, man. It's tough for your girlfriend or your wife to sit in the stands because you're not gonna make everybody happy. You're never gonna make everybody happy, and you know who? When a team loses, it's always the coach's fault.
Yeah. So, go ahead. I'm sorry.
We lost in the state championship to Howard, and we got upset by them. I had fans try to jump over the fence and try to attack me, and it had fans
attack you.
Yeah, I mean,
for losing the state championship game.
Losing the state championship, we turned the ball over 4 times, and I had to get my family police escorted out of the University of Delaware.
You're kidding me.
No. Yeah, so you get some crazy fans. If you ever
St. George's Catholic School, huh?
Yeah, right. I told you we weren't Catholic.
I know. Just kidding.
But yeah, so you ever seen those Pop Warner shows on TV? It gets a little crazy. And
so that's a great point you brought up because I'm very passionate about. Personally, I think youth sports is broken at its core.
Oh, yeah.
Where do you see that? I know you talked about the 7-on-7 going down into Florida. Where does that start in football? Is it the Pop Warner?
The Pop Warner. It's at the Pop Warner level.
How do you fix that?
Man, it's tough. I've been watching the Pop Warner programs here, and they're doing a good job. But you get some people just crazy. Just crazy. Are you talking about parents? Or are you just talking about
it's just the whole setup of it, right? I mean, it's the willingness to be educated, and learn about, is winning at the age of 9 and 10 really that valuable?
No, and then what kills me is when they rank players at 8 years old. And then here's the crazy thing: that person who's ranking them, he's making money off those parents because those parents know, I'll do your highlight film. No college coach is looking at a 9-year-old.
Someone's taking advantage of these kids.
And these parents are buying into it. They're paying $2,500 for a highlight film, and want this guy to email the coaches. College coaches don't even look at those emails. They don't look at it.
In the past couple of years, I don't know if you know the answer, but how many of the football players have gone on to play Division I college football players?
Where
at Cape.
Brent Reed is the most.
The Growl kid. Yeah, Growl, Brent Reed, and Brandon Nixon. I believe all 3 of those guys were.
Really? Okay.
I think they were all 3 kids had great grades.
Yeah.
And they played for Dave Brock, who was a friend of mine, who's now with the Atlanta Falcons. They all had great grades. I believe they got some academic money, and because they're in-state kids, it was easy to recruit those guys because they're cheap kids. I mean by cheap is tuition-wise. You don't have to spend that much money on a kid from Maryland because you're getting that Brent Reed kid in in-state money.
Yeah.
You guys follow me on that?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's cheaper for them to get those type of kids, and they're great character kids. Growl, Brent Reed, and Nixon kid.
No doubt.
Wow. Okay. And your mom come to these games?
Oh, my mom hasn't missed a game. I mean, she doesn't miss many games.
So where does she sit in the stands? Because I could imagine hearing what she hears in these games. So
she sits. A lot of times she sits right in the middle under the press box. So she goes to a lot. She don't miss many games. She's there. She's at a lot of games. I think she's going to feel more comfortable now down here because she knows a lot of people in the stands. But upstate, man, we played up in Banyard Stadium. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Banyan Stadium. It's right in the city.
No.
That gets a little crazy there. But here she's at every game.
I don't get out much. I got to get out and see some schools around here.
Yeah.
I work from home. I don't. This is my only hobby I have. The only contact I have with people here is today. You two people.
And fishing for buzz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Find some buzz fish, man. There's a whole lot of them out there right now.
I catch that all the time. That and a few crabs, and
Yeah.
that's about it. Then I was told no one comes out here and fishes. No one catches fish out here. They use this like a ball with a bunch of spikes that they throw it out there and it sticks to the ground. And here I am with the bait and everything and getting ready to bait the hook. And the guy says, "I've had the same bait for 5 years. What are you doing?" I said, "Baiting my hook." I don't know. I guess I'm hooked up on this, trying to catch something here. Even if I have to go on this little one of those chart boats or bunch of
Lewis.
Yeah, I got to catch something. I just found out what a flounder looks like. If I would have caught one of those, I would have like freaked out. I didn't know what the hell that was. So, all right. Anything else, Coach Ray?
No, I think I'm excited to watch you guys play Friday night, and I'm glad you're part of the Cape Henlopen School District, and I think it's moving in the right direction.
Yeah, we're gonna give everything we got on Friday night. We got a lot of injuries, but we're gonna, our program is built on building young boys into men and standing on two feet and accept responsibility. So, whatever we have, we'll have about 48 kids tomorrow night or Friday night, and we're gonna give it our best shot. I don't know what's gonna happen, but our kids are gonna battle and compete. That's the main thing. We're gonna battle and compete and play the right way.
Delaware Prostate Cancer Coalition night that night.
That's Friday night?
Smyrna?
Smyrna. You got it. It's a big night. Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck, Coach.
All right. Thank you.
Didn't know there was
Thanks for coming out, Coach.
Yeah, really. Hey, thanks for coming out and really appreciate it. And
thank you. This was awesome, man.
Yeah,
I
man.
appreciate it, fellas.
we'll do it again next time when you go undefeated here. We'll have you back and have some of your players here, and we'll do it again. We'd love to have you back, and God, yeah, we'll keep tabs on you here.
All right, thank you.
Coach Ray,
Awesome.
thanks a lot. Our executive producer Zach
Kaufman.
the Crooked Hammock Brewery. All right, guys, that's a wrap. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.